Good day everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing the new Black Clover chapter that came out on Sunday. It's chapter 280 called Burning Disaster. So this chapter released Sunday. Before we get into this though, there was some news announced this morning with regards to the Black Clover anime. So I'll just go over that real quickly. So it seems that on March 30th, episode 170 is going to be the last episode, I believe, for a while. They said there would be an announcement after the episode. I believe this is going to be some form of a hiatus, since the episodes are really close to the manga and they probably don't want to do fillers again. So most likely they're going to be taking a hiatus for about yeah, I guess, or maybe until late this year and then begin, but and the next month we'll see. So I just wanted to give you all that little bit of news before we started. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's get into it. I'll try to spoiler warning up here as per usual, since we're going to be discussing the chapter and going through it, and I'll review it at the end and give my opinions on how I thought it was. So yeah, the chapter basically opens up and we see that Jack is pinned to the wall after he was attacked by the twins. Well, the twin devils, that is. And he can't really move, and we see that Noct is basically there because he dodged the last attack, and he said his devil is kind of shaken and scared. And I believe we get the names of the new two devils as well, and we hear that they mentioned that these devils are two high-ranking devils basically. So yeah, we then see Noct dodging these attacks because they let off a kind of energy-based attack, it looks like, in the chapter, and it seems to be covering a wide area, so the entire field is being bombarded with this attack. And Noct is jumping around like a ninja in his new union mode that looks kind of like a cat slash ninja. He's jumping around, bing bing bing, you know, left right. He's still getting hit by some of these attacks, and in doing so he's mentioning that these devils are way stronger than he expected on a whole new level, because he was expecting like the weaker devils first and then these ones later on. So yeah, this is where we get the names of the devils now. The female one is called Lilith, and the male is called Namath, I think. I hope I pronounced that correct. By hand, they basically say that the mana in this area is very tasty because they are absorbing it. So yeah, we also then skip a bit outside. Well, we skip outside of the castle, because remember, this fight is taking place in the castle. So we see the rebellion with this guy with the eye patch, who is a villain before, I forgot his name, from the Clover Kingdom, the zombie guy. Yeah, we see him and the rest of the rebellion outside, and they mention that the roots from the tree that we saw coming out of the building last chapter is basically absorbing mana from the area. And then we get a huge double spread, and we see a slew of different demons, lower rank demons, that is, bursting through the wall to attack in this area. These demons range in what they look like. So there's one that looks kind of like an owl, and one that looks like an octopus, one that looks like a buzzard, a bear, a next type of bird, a oni. So yeah, that's really cool that they vary in what you call it, design from one another, and it's not just like all are humanoid. This happens when you're filming where trucks pass. Sorry about that. So yeah, so basically we get the rebellion seeing all these demons bursting out towards them, and they're scared. Then we see Mira, because this is where Mira was fighting the big demon. She's like, this mana feels familiar. from before. But while she's feeling this present, the big ancient demon she was fighting that she set ablaze basically gets up, and he's like roar. Um, so round two, I guess, for her and this big ancient demon. We then see glimpses of the three fights from before with the Dark Triad. We see when Yuno attacked Xenon, and he told them it was over. Then we saw when Charlotte wrapped up Vanica in the vines with a double rose power, where she used the blue and red together from her first magic. And we saw Dante mention that basically, since the first gate is open now, this basically stops the cap that was on the powers they could use from the devil. And I think before they were only allowed to use like 80% because of the gate. So he was like, the gate just opened, so there's no cap on them now. And we get a huge double page spread, and we see all three of the members side by side releasing their full power, and they go 100% devil power. It's a pretty cool page. We see Xenon is healed up from the hole that Yuno blasted in his chest right here. We see the slash that Jack gave Dante. We see it on his chest still, but it looks kinda like it healed a little bit. And we see Vanica bursting out, holding the vines apart and coming out of the ball of thorns and vines that she was in. And then we get like a quick glimpse again of the different fights around, those same fights, but quick glimpses of them and what's happening. So like Dante pulls Jack towards him with the gravity, and is like, you know, he's interesting, this fight is interesting, so keep it going. He wants to fight longer because he's crazy, just like Jack. Crazy. We see Charlotte's helmet go flying, and Vanica basically pins her to the ground, and it's like, you know, we want more, because Vanica likes to fight, it seems, and her devil. So she's like, she wants to fight more, and Rilla's like, Charlotte. Rilla is literally doing nothing. I mean, he was useful in the last chapter with setting up this, but so yeah, so basically we get that, and it seems the tide of the battle has shifted again. And then we get a glimpse now of Yuno, who is fighting Xenon, and we see Xenon is completely healed, like mentioned before, and he unlocked the 100%. And he basically pushed Yuno away, and he was like, you know, if you die now, you have nowhere to go back to, because you know, he's full of himself. And we see now that Xenon is so much stronger that when he pushed back Yuno, he manages to cut him right here on his face. And Yuno is thinking that basically his regeneration was already high, but now it's way higher. It shot up with this 100%. So yeah, he's a beast now, Xenon. Well, more of a beast, that is. So hopefully we get to see some more cool attacks from him. We then skip back to Noct, and he's using his power again. He sees that Morris is down there, and that he needs to stop Morris basically, because Morris is the one causing everything to speed up so rapidly, and basically throwing the entire plan of this invasion that they had out of whack, because they can't manage to do anything now with him causing all this drama and speeding up this process. So yeah, and we get a small glimpse of Asta on this next page, and I believe Noct said, you know, he's talking to the little devil on his shoulder. I think it's Plumety it's pronounced, hopefully I pronounce it correct again. He's like, die with me please. And yeah, we get a wide shot now of the Clover Kingdom, and we see the mountain range, and the sky is all dark and gloomy, and we see 2 feet slowly descend out of the sky, slowly coming down. And then we get a big white page again, a double page again, sorry, and half of the page is basically this big ancient demon again dropped down into the Clover capital. And we see the civilians screaming that, oh, it's a demon. And we get a quick glimpse of a few of the well, not captains, but knights. We have, I think, the captain from the Purple Orca, the new captain. I think that is Julius we see as well there. Just making sure, and Max, and basically everyone sees this giant demon up here in the Clover Kingdom. And then we get one last panel with Asta, well, two panels. One with Asta and his devil on the ground panting. And then Asta wheezing. So basically I think that is them showing that Asta's training is probably done completely now. So we should be seeing him getting back into the action soon, because it's been a few chapters since the training with him. So yeah, and that's where the chapter ends. There's no break next week, of course, and I think this was a good chapter. Now I'll get into what I thought and my opinions on the chapter and what I think will happen. So this was a good chapter. It was a setup again, because now it's showing the fights that were going on and done like we thought, but I mean everyone knew it wasn't going to be that easy. But basically it shows that the Dark Triad is like a level above the training that the Magic Knights did, even though they powered up within that short time, and now they're getting whooped. So yeah, with regards to this big ancient demon that showed up in the Clover Kingdom, I think that Asta is going to be the one to fight it, and we might get to see his new form now. If not him, then I think Julius is finally going to have to step outside as a baby, like in his kid form, and protect the civilians again. So I think that's going to happen. One of those two things are going to happen. Next chapter, I think we may see more of the Clover Kingdom now and this big demon there. And we might pan to maybe, as before Julius and Asta fighting it, maybe some of the other captains who didn't go, or vice captains trying to battle it. So yeah, it was a good chapter, a very good, interesting world building chapter. Oh yes, one more thing, Mira. So I think she's going to win her fight, but I think they're stalling her because we know how overpowered she is. So I think they're trying to stall her, so when she does get to the main fight, it would be it's like a Kenpachi situation from Bleach, where Kenpachi is a beast, but usually he's stalled before battles, like in the final Blood War, how he was stalled, like he had to fight Bernida and he lost the arm and leg and heal, and then he come back. So yeah, the aim is probably to get her tired, so when she comes out to fight now into the main battle, she's not as overpowered as she normally is, to knock around the Dark Triad, because we're going to leave that, of course, for Asta and Noel. You know, I would have expected them to hold him back and let Langris fight first, and then when Noel and Asta show up, then he would have stepped in as well, but I don't know where they're going with that. So hopefully he gets some help as well. But yeah, that is my review, what I thought of the chapter. Of course, we went through the chapter and discussed it. Like I said, good chapter. I gave you all the news again. So the 30th, we should get an announcement after episode 170 as to what is going on with the anime, if it's going on a hiatus, or if it will be indefinitely out for whatever period they give, or something like that. We're not 100% sure, but there was a little trailer this morning, so you could probably check it out. It's about 30 seconds. So yeah, but again, thank you for watching. Leave a comment down below, like, share, subscribe, please. Help me to reach 100 subscribers at least, because we're on 67 now. So yeah, thanks and bye.